Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast we bring you each and every week. Just fixing stuff there. There seems to be an issue with Twitter and StreamYard at the moment, so when I pin Twitter to the shows, I have to take it out then when I start, so I'll have to investigate that and see what's going on. But anyway, we are here. It is Thursday. Darren will be heading off, of course. He's heading off to Troon tomorrow to witness the 152nd British Open, or the Open as they call it now, I should say. But yeah, we're going to have a fun show tonight for you. We've got transfer news to go through. We're going to be getting Darren's thoughts on some of the topics that I covered on Monday as well, because I was flying solo. We're going to get his thoughts on the ending to Euro 2024 as well. We're going to be talking obviously about Endo Fernandez and give our thoughts on that. Gareth Southgate resigning, we will be talking about that. And any other transfer business. Mbappe being unveiled by Real Madrid, they know how to put on a show. And I have to say, when you see all those Champions League trophies laid out like that, Darren, and you think there's teams out there haven't even won their own domestic league that many times, near alone the Champions League, it's a phenomenal sight to see, isn't it? How we keep
it sure is. Not too bad, brother, not too bad. And yeah, it is, isn't it? It's Real Madrid are a special club. As much as we they're not our team and they'll never be Liverpool or Man United. They are a team that you look at and you think, wow, there's something a little bit special in the water there, isn't there?
Yeah, and I mean, do you know something? Every time they reach a level, they just go in again and improve again and build upon it again and just raise it and raise it and raise it.
I mean, we thought we'd never see the likes of the Galacticos again.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're looking and you're like, you're even the current squad, like so many players that they bring in that you're thinking this is best in field. Like at the minute, obviously, even in that midfield role, you've got Tchouaméni and Camavinga, you've got Valverde and you've got Bellingham, you've got Rodrigo and Vinicius, you've now got Mbappe, you've got Endrick, you've got Arda Güler. Like, this is just...
Modric, Kroos bringing in the experience. I know Kroos is exiting the building now. Modric extended for a year, didn't he?
He extended a year. I think it was always going to be keep one and let one take a step, you know. You don't want to lose two pillars like that because there's an awful lot of experience in those two guys. And I'm sure there was a conversation between the lads. Listen, I'm going to stay, you go, I'm going to stay, whatever way it was. And we just make sure we leave this place in the right frame of mind, because I think if you lose both of them, I know obviously they don't always start and play every game together, but if you lose both of them, it's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, and I would imagine both of them, if they wanted, would be given coaching jobs there or something like that if they wanted. I mean, they've been unbelievable for the club and stuff like that. And the knowledge they have, you can't buy it. Like, you know, it's just the experience, especially in those moments. And really at times when you look at it, when Real Madrid have struggled at times, they're the guys that they leaned on to get it done, to find a way, even when they don't play well, to find a way. Those are the guys that tends to come through, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but anyway, folks, if you can, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button and drop a like on the video. Also, check out last night, Pro Wrestling Weekly. We spoke about loads of good stuff last night. It was a great show with me and Russ. And obviously on Monday, I was flying solo. Mark's away. He'll be back next week. I think we might have the Legends guys on again, and we might have some of the guys on from Ballyferm. I'm not sure. Mark is sorting all that, but we'll let you know over the weekend anyway as things progress. Into the chat, what's the crack? Niall and Dazzler, big up Daz. My man is in.
Hey, Daz.
Caramel.
Captain Caramel, good man.
Daz, and obviously Dazzler, who are you following tomorrow at the Open? He's not tomorrow, I think it's Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah, Friday's a travel day and Sunday's a travel day. So we're at the Open on Saturday. And it'll depend who makes the cut, I suppose, because at the minute,
I was cheering your boy today. I was cheering when after our conversation. I was cheering him today to get him home on Saturday. I think it's going to be a real struggle.
It's going to be a massive struggle unless, you know, he rolls back the years. We're obviously talking about one Tiger Woods. I was a massive Tiger Woods fan as I was a kid and stuff like that. I played a lot of golf and Tiger was the guy for me. You know, he wasn't the guy that got me to pick up a golf club, but he got me to hold on to it a little longer than I would have done if he hadn't been around. And I would just love to be able to see him on Saturday.
He was my first golf bet I ever got up when he won the Masters as an amateur. I had him.
Right.
Yeah, had 50 quid on him at 16-1
as a
as an
rookie,
amateur, as a rookie,
first year rookie. Yeah,
and he absolutely panned it. What a sensation he was.
it was
But yeah, we're going to
ridiculous.
touch on it later anyway. We're going to talk about the British Open later. And Darren, I went out of my way today to put together a really nice graphic for the screen for you because I know
Did
you're.
you?
I did, and I feel like I knocked it out of the park. I'm just saying. So there you
Deadly.
go. So there you go. I'm sure you'll enjoy it when we come to it and
Sure
stuff like
will.
that. See, big up WWV for you. Hello, Noel. I thought it was interesting how the Euros final went. I don't think England deserved to win the match, but then again, they didn't deserve to win the tournament either. I don't think you'll get any argument here. I think we can all agree that I don't like saying the right team won the tournament, but I think that the team that we believe should have won the
I
tournament
think they
won
were
the
a very
tournament.
worthy winner. They were a
Absolutely.
very
Yeah.
worthy winner, Spain,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think even, do you know something? I think even if England had won it, and you get all the euphoria and the parade and 66 and all this kind of stuff and all, I think they'd still look back at it as one where they kind of chanced their arm a bit and got away with it. So I don't think it would be looked back on quite like, I know 66 is
No,
obviously a World
I
Cup as
don't know.
well, but,
I don't think there's any pictures on the scorecard. I think if they lift that trophy, we're listening to it.
I
But
know, but it
again,
was,
I just don't feel like they showed up, unfortunately.
No, they didn't.
And I
For sure.
don't think Southgate was quite brave enough again.
Absolutely.
And some huge performances on the Spanish side as well. Some big performances, probably from guys that maybe we didn't think, had that type of performance in them. Obviously, we know the two boys, Nico Williams and Yamal, had been two of the best players of the tournament, and they'd absolutely toyed with a lot of sides. I thought they both did well, but without being spectacular. I thought Cucurella and Carvajal were phenomenal, both of them. I thought the two fullbacks were unbelievable for Spain, defensively and offensively. And if we watched, the winning goal is Cucurella, obviously getting high and stuff like that, and putting the ball into a good area. I thought, we expected from Rodri, but I think, the boy Zubimendi, when he came on at half time and had to step into those gigantic shoes, I think for Spain to come out and score so quickly would have settled everybody's nerves a little bit. And I think he did a really, really good job for Spain as well, protecting that back four and stuff.
At a time as well when England would have been rubbing their hands going, Rodri's gone off.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Massive,
Absolutely.
but they didn't take advantage at all. Also, Rodri's partner in midfield, what's his name? Frees? What's the midfielder in there with Rodri?
Fabian Ruiz.
Fabian Ruiz, yeah. He had a phenomenal tournament as well.
He just covered so much ground.
Yeah.
Every single game, it was a shift, and he was just end to end, box to box. I thought he was very, very good. Very, very good.
Do you know, it's weird when we looked at the tournament, looking back on it and stuff like that. From Spain's game one, we felt there was something special about this side. They were going to do something, didn't we? Really?
Yeah, they kind of put their best foot forward to start with, and they stayed there.
When I was listening to the commentary on the match as well, I was thinking about stuff you said throughout the tournament when we spoke about it, and we talked about how the tournament is set up for people to be, a little bit cagey and trying to get draws and go to penalties and all that kind of stuff and all. And at one stage in the commentary, when Spain they were 2-1 up or whatever it was, or it was 1-1 or whatever, or no, they had only scored the first goal, sorry. And the commentator turned around and goes, and they're pushing forward again, and all them. They're going, this is how real teams play football. Real teams don't sit back on 1-0 leads, especially with the talent that they have and stuff like that and all. And I was thinking, if only England had done that 4 years previous or whatever it was.
If only England had done that this year. I mean, with the kind of attacking talent that they had at their disposal, it was just way too passive for them. And I think Southgate, unfortunately, he's not a gambler, and I think you can see from how he puts a side together. I mean, when they got to the World Cup semi-final a couple of years ago when Croatia beat them, they got there basically on set pieces. They were scoring goals from free kicks and corners to beat the band, and just keeping things tight at the back, playing that back five and stuff like that. He's very, very cagey. Now, that doesn't mean it's not effective. But I just think, if you want to go and win a tournament, Spain have gone and done it, as you would say, the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. It was weird how it's like they weren't even trying in the first half, but their strategy seemed to be let the other team score first and then score a goal to gain a massive momentum boost back. I think it played out like that. I doubt that's what they were thinking. But
No.
yeah, no, it seemed to be the pattern of play. All right, I just think Spain were so good. Just think Spain were so good. You know what I mean? And we spoke about as well. You look at that Spanish team. Okay, you've got Rodri in there at Man City. You've Cucurella at Chelsea and stuff like that. But you've a lot of guys in there like Real Sociedad and Bilbao and all that. And then you look at that England side. You've got Harry Kane, arguably the best player in the Bundesliga last year. Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham, all these players now, and you're there looking, going. They just couldn't seem to pull it together as a team. It was just a bunch of stars who kind of the stars just didn't align for. It was just so weird. But yeah,
We spoke
Ericsson.
about it. We spoke about it before.
Mm,
They did kind of turn into Moments FC a little bit
yeah, absolutely.
and looked
Absolutely.
like 11 individuals rather than a team. And I think
Yeah,
Spain, from the word go, everybody just had a shovel and they were digging in the same direction. And that
yeah.
just makes everything seem so much easier.
Like when you think of that Moments FC, like they'd no right even to get past Slovakia, to be honest. You know what I mean? When you look back on it and stuff like that. And the plan seemed to revolve around having their subs turn the tide of a match. Yeah, absolutely. What did Woods hit off the first tee today, Dazzler? Um,
I didn't see it.
Actually, his first shot off the tee today was decent. Yeah, his first shot off the
I
tee today
didn't
was
see
decent.
his first ball off the
Yeah.
tee. I watched him tap in for a 79, which is 8 over. I watched that. I watched him the last couple of holes, but
Yeah. No, I
listen,
think he
we
after
shall
three
see.
holes, after 3 or 4 holes, I think he was still level par or something like that.
I think
I
he was
don't
1
think he.
over after
Oh,
4, so he
yeah, I
wasn't.
don't think he didn't have a bad start. Like,
No. I think it was
and
the
then
middle part of the round.
and then he
It was
limped off
hole
as he
after
limped
hole
he
after
limped
hole where there was pressure, and it just builded that way,
he limped off as well. Apparently, I read earlier he limped off at the end. Apparently, so big up, Jack. Good to see you there, my friend. Got my last season's shirt signed by all the new Tranmere squad on Sunday and got the new home shirt. Awesome. Love that. Fellow
Now,
Irishman,
Jack,
Joe Murphy.
just so we know, Jack, was that the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker who signed it, or who was it? Was it the postie?
Could
Was there
be the
any
whole
plum? Was there a
lot.
plumber playing right back? Who's that now?
Yeah, absolutely. I grabbed a
Jack
few of
knows I'm
these.
teasing, I hope.
Absolutely. Eric saying, look, wrong show. Oh no, Hulk Hogan is going to speak at the Republican convention tonight. I seen that. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, apparently he's going to speak on the convention tonight, the Trump one, I think it is. Yeah,
This could
absolutely.
go horribly wrong. That WWE Legends deal could go up in
Oh
smoke
man,
at the end of this.
that Nobody Speaks documentary could come back to bite people. Okay, so we got word then, I think on Monday, I think it was, or Tuesday, that Southgate had resigned. So
Yeah.
obviously all the speculation then happens. Southgate resigning, the right move?
I think so. I think he's in the job a long time. I think it's a really difficult job to be in the possession of because of, the expectations and the level of expectation. Now, I don't think it's not warranted based on, what they have. But I do think it's an awful lot. Like, I listened to Jamie Carragher during the week and he was talking about, we're in England. We don't win competitions. We haven't gone on this run of winning international competitions. Why anyone is surprised that we haven't won it is beyond me. We've never won. He said the fact that Southgate's got into 2 finals 4 years apart is phenomenal. Okay, yes, they're a very good set of players, but they've had the golden generation of Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard, Beckham, all of these guys, Michael Owen, Wayne Rooney, and not gotten that far before. So why is Southgate getting to 2 finals and the bounce such a letdown, shall we say, I think he makes a great point.
He does, but again, as I said, when you rattle off, like when you put, if you didn't see either of these teams play, if you hadn't seen Spain play and you hadn't seen England play, and you looked at both teams on paper, you know what your thinking would be? You'd look at that England team and you go, that's a phenomenal England side. That's a side that's been ripping it up all around Europe, tearing up the Premier League,
Well,
more or
it's a
less.
paper team. It
Yeah,
looks great on paper.
exactly.
Now, me personally, I think if you've somebody maybe in one of those pictures there in charge of that team, they possibly win it. Because as well as he's done, you know, I still think at times there was more that he didn't get out of them. He didn't quite ring them out to what he would have wanted, you know, because I think if he did, they could have gone over the line certainly once and maybe twice.
Yeah, I think he lacked the bravery to make changes when they needed to be made, and also to sit people down at times as well. I think, and I think that holds course. Even I think he hasn't learned even from the last tournament, because the last tournament there was a similar situation as well.
Yeah.
Of the guys there that are on the screen, I think I literally have everyone there in one picture or another that's being linked with it or whatever it is. What's your general feeling on the moment? If you're sitting on the FA board at the moment, who would you put in as your number one choice? Who do you want to talk to? Who's coming in for you?
Listen, if I'm England and I'm looking at what's on the betting list there, just go straight to the top of the table and go for Jurgen Klopp. Get Jurgen Klopp. He is one of the best managers in world football. I think the style would suit England down to the ground. You know, he likes that heavy metal football. I think that's what you would want. You know, Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice. That's what I think you would want those guys to be. I think with the talent they have, if you got Jurgen Klopp, thank you, Jack. It's been a topic of conversation this week. But I think go get Jurgen Klopp. That's what I would do. He's the best manager on the list, bar none. And we can't, you know, we can't skirt around that.
Yeah, I think when you look at what's there and you put Jurgen Klopp in there, then certainly that's the case. But the likelihood of Jurgen Klopp taking the job is pretty slim, especially when he wants a bit of time away from the game and stuff like that and all. And
I do get that, but obviously an international job's a little bit different. It's certainly not as full on as a Premier League job, and maybe this allows him to stay involved at a slightly reduced level. You know, listen, if it's me and I'm the FA and I look at the squad I have and I go, right, I've got Bellingham, I've got Rice, I've got Mainu, I've got Foden, I got Palmer, I got Bowen, I got Gordon, I got all of this talent at my disposal. Frank Lampard, Thomas Tuchel, and Graham Potter probably don't get into the game if they bought their own tickets.
Let's suppose, okay, let's take Tuchel out for the moment. Let's take Klopp out for the moment. Okay, and what about Poch? What do you think on Poch?
Yeah, like I'm a Poch fan. I'm a Poch fan. I think, again, would he do well with a very, very young side that he could kind of shape and mould? Absolutely. And we know the kind of football he likes to play and stuff like that. He could get the best out of some of those young players. I would be, I think Poch would be up there for me. Poch for me would probably be second favourite behind Klopp. And then I'd be at Eddie Howe, and then I'd be at Lee Carsley.
Yeah. Ian's saying, what's the crack, Niall? So we have AJ Styles from NWA TNA on the podcast. Where is Dazzler? I remember Styles at that haircut, actually. Yeah, that's very good. Jack is asking, Niall, what do you think of us missing out on Lenny Yoro? Do you know something? He's a fantastic talent. He has a huge ceiling. I said it yesterday on our WhatsApp group to the boys. I think it's a fantastic bit of business. I think it will turn out to be a fantastic bit of business. It's very hard to judge it right now, obviously. It's only a kid and stuff like that, you know. But I don't think people see these 40 millions and 50 millions and all. They think it's a huge outlay, but they don't understand the economics behind these deals where it's 8 million a year or whatever it is, you know. And I think, to be honest, I think Liverpool were caught a little bit with their pants down on this one, to be honest. And I'd say they're hurting a little bit from it, to be honest. And And that's me trying to be as honest as I can. I know there's a lot of people coming out going, but we didn't want him and we didn't bid for him and we thought this, that, we didn't value him at that. Listen, I've no answer for you if that's your thinking on these things. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here bewildered by the transfer window when it comes to Liverpool at the moment, wondering what the hell we brought Edwards back for. But there you go. But we'll talk about it in the transfer section anyway. So what you're thinking at the moment, if you can't get Klopp, if Tuchel's obviously out of the picture, obviously, you're thinking Poch, Eddie Howe.
I think Poch and Eddie Howe would be great choices.
Yeah.
I think Poch or Howe would do a terrific job. I really do. I think if it's got to be an Englishman, I give it to Eddie Howe. If that's the train of thought, we want an Englishman, blah, I think if that's where they're going, you give it to Eddie Howe. We spoke about it previously. He's the most qualified English manager out there at the minute with what he's done with Newcastle, what he did at Bournemouth with the style and variety of football he plays, Eddie Howe's a really, really good manager and a really, really good coach. And I think he would do a fabulous job with England. I think you'd see him being a lot more brave than maybe a Gareth Southgate would. And I think you'd see him. I think he's a much bigger character than Gareth Southgate.
He'd be more dynamic in his squad choice as
absolutely,
well.
Absolutely.
And even with his
not even with his squad choices, but even with his starting 11s. I think at times it cries out for something different in England. Why didn't we see Eberechi more? A guy that we've lauded. Why do you take the boy Adam Morton and not give him any minutes whatsoever? I think Gordon didn't play enough for me.
Armour should have played more.
Yeah, there was so many of them.
Trent probably could have played more for Walker in light of how it went and stuff like that. Kane should have been sat down a lot more. He probably played the tournament injured. You know what I mean? What was he even doing there? You know what I mean? It's, if that's the case,
Yeah.
Sometimes he was a passenger. We spoke about it. We have to keep it 100, don't we? If we talk about like this about Ronaldo in Portugal, we have to keep the same energy. You know what I mean? And that's what I like.
And Harry Kane was miles off the Harry Kane we know.
Absolutely.
Miles off it.
100%. Jack is in. Sepp van der Berg has better stats last season than Lenny Yoro. Listen, don't worry about that. That's people babysitting their hurt by that kind of thing and stuff like that. It's if we're going to start comparing Lenny Yoro, he's been touted as the next defensive Mbappe. I don't hear anyone saying that about Sepp van der Berg, who we're trying to crowbar out the door, by the way. So
yeah,
think about it that way. Don't worry about what we're listening about, how we're trying to find a place for him in the squad and stuff like that. We're penny pinching at the moment. They're trying to find solutions. So, which is what we tend to do. Right, let's talk about this guy. Obviously, this is on the back of winning the Copa America. For me, very strange. Not unusual. Not necessarily about Endo Fernandez, but in terms of culturally, we know how some of these South American teams operate. I experienced it firsthand, obviously, with Suarez at Liverpool, and we had it with Cavani as well, and all that kind of stuff, But this is very strange. A guy who's just won a Copa America. He's on top of what they believe is their world. Absolutely phenomenal. Didn't have a great season at Chelsea, to be honest. Struggled to figure out his role with Caicedo in there at times. Kind of figured it out a little bit towards the back end of the season. Plays in a team.
Then got injured as well, don't forget.
Then got injured. Plays in a team with so many of these guys that would be directly affected by what was sang. And it just didn't make sense to me at all. Give me, I don't need your thoughts on it in terms of the racist stuff and stuff like that and all. What are you expecting here? Obviously, Chelsea issued a statement condemning it all. He issued a statement himself apologising and stuff like that. Doesn't sound like the guy on the left was very interested in the apology based on the reaction that I seen. Give me your thoughts. Where does this go? Is this a big fine, a 5-game ban? Is this a 3-game ban? We know there's education there that has to happen and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
if you're looking in.
To be honest with you, I think that's the first problem. I think if it was the exception to the rule, then we might say, okay, somebody's had a couple of too many drinks, or, he's spoken first and thought later and blah, blah, but this just comes on the back of a spate of this from South America. So you've got to look at it at this stage and say, what are we missing out on here? There's a huge issue with education, and, I get that these lads they're full-time footballers and they're superstars and they're megastars, but I don't think at times there's enough done on the human side for them, to educate them and to maybe put them into give them a little bit of empathy at times. Money can't buy you empathy. And obviously when you're in a certain position and you're looking at others around the world and you're sitting there in your nice big house with your pile of 50s and stuff like that, you can feel like you're a bit detached from what goes on. And I think...
Or potentially above recrimination.
Absolutely. Well, it's not going to work here because I think Chelsea are going to have to kind of set the bar on this. Now, I imagine...
The one thing I'd like to say about this as well is, like, there was quite a number of people on this couch singing this. So this wasn't just Endo Fernandez.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
I think that matches up with your point. I think that emphasizes your point.
Absolutely. He's the idiot that records it. But I mean, if we go through it, we can probably pick some of the lads out in the background and stuff like that.
Which apparently is going to happen, apparently, I heard.
I would imagine so. I think if you're in that freeze frame, if you're in that video from start to finish and your lips move and somebody can say you're singing that song, there should be repercussions further on down the line. Excuse me. I think education is key. But then I also think it's down to clubs to kind of set the bar and say, you know what, lads, you are our player. And we do value you massively as a footballer. But as a human, you've got to do better. And because of that, you're going to take a slap on the hand and it's going to hurt you. But it's going to hurt you and you're going to remember it. And later on down the road, you're going to go, don't need that again. It's going to be like that cow over at the electric fence. And when they get a good jolt of it, fucking hell, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, and it's just, the weird thing about it as well. It's just so weird because he's a Chelsea player. You look at that Chelsea team and you look at the makeup of that Chelsea team.
It's so diverse.
Yeah, but not even that. Like, what he spoke about is so true that team.
Well, you've got Badi Ashila, you've got Axel Disasi, you've got
Malo Gusto.
Malo Gusto is Brazilian, but with French origin kind of thing. You've got Wesley Fofana, you've got the Leslie Ukachukwu, you've got Carney Chukwuemeka,
David Fofana.
Like, it's just...
And like that doesn't even take into account the amount of boys they might have on loan that this hits.
And not to forget, you don't necessarily need to be French to feel this. This hits Colombia's Nicholas Jackson. This hits Reece James. This hits Noni Madueke. Like this really is. Yeah. This is a slap of a wet fish across the face.
This is the last thing Maresca needed to be dealing with, isn't it? When you think about it.
Yeah, it absolutely is, because
we made the point that he had a huge job on his hands, even to get these boys ready for the start of the season and all.
Yeah, you need to put your best foot forward, and I think all of a sudden he's already on the back foot. Now listen, Pochettino was on the back foot, and look at how things finished for him. Let's say he got the ball moving, and I don't imagine if everything panned out the exact same way as it does next season, I imagine they would keep Maresca rather than get rid of Poch, and then they'll get further down the road the season after with that. This is slightly pressing the reset button for me, because the new manager again makes life a little more difficult. You've got to get his ideas on board. You've got to build confidence there. You've got to build relationships with players and stuff like that. And that's one of the reasons I thought it was really important for United to do a lot of the background stuff before looking at Erik ten Hag. And as proves at the minute with what's going on behind the scenes with what's leaving the building and what's being brought into the building, they're creating a much better situation and scenario for Erik ten Hag, to the point where if it doesn't work now, there are no more excuses.
Yeah, there's nowhere to hide.
There's nowhere to hide. And then it's a thing of, okay, well, last time we did this, we had this internal review. We felt like there was a lot going on outside of the manager. Now, if we do another internal review and things aren't going, well, that box has been ticked. So was that one. That's been ticked and that's been ticked. What's left? The manager. Job done. It's very simple.
We'll talk about it in a few minutes because I'm going to get your thoughts as well on Jadon Sancho going back in as well. But before we do that, we'll move on from this. We'll keep an eye on it and we see what way they deal with it. I think as you said, a marker has to be laid down. And I think, look, there's precedent there in the past as well. So, you know what I mean? I know you can't compare one case with another and it's not like for like and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is the reality and we'll see how it goes. But certainly the last thing Chelsea needed. We touched on this at the start, of course. Kylian Mbappe unveiled the other day. Madrid just know how to do it, don't they? This was just 80,000 people for an unveiling.
Yeah, they do. It was magnificent. And I think they were very clever in what they did with Zidane. They knew obviously they had video footage and stuff like that of Mbappe and Zidane years ago, and then you've got Mbappe with pictures of Zidane on his wall and stuff like that. And I just think bringing him in to be part of it and stuff like that, it just sprinkled a little bit more magic dust on top of it, didn't it?
Yeah, well, listen, any association with Zidane is golden, isn't it, really, when you think about it? Especially in that stadium. Especially in that stadium, both as a player and as a manager.
Absolutely.
But as I said to you, when you look along that line there, and I even seen it there back in May or June, whenever it was, when they won that Champions League, the 15th one, is it? 15?
15, yeah.
15th one. Like Perez bringing the trophy into the trophy room and he walking right along the corridor of 14 of them to put the 15th one in. It's just phenomenal what they do, and it's just this churning it all the time, and even the interviews where they talk about, this is an obligation. This is what we expect. This is not what we're striving for.
No, and the thing that gets me is, like, if we look at the years, maybe let's say Liverpool and United won it. In recent years, they were the standout teams in the competition. Say like the way Spain were, yeah? So obviously the year we win it against Chelsea and the year we win it against Bayern and stuff like that. So many years Real just go through the motions and all of a sudden end up in a final. And then they're 3-1 up and you're like, how the fuck did that happen? What? Yeah. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, they just seem to find a way. There is never any moment of, oh my God, look where we are, let's shit the bed. It always seems to be, we got this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just a different level to everyone else, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
like you see what they do there the other day, and you even think about it. Even if you compare it to Barcelona, it's different level. It really is different level.
And listen, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, and obviously if Romy one was in the chat, he would probably agree with me. Barcelona aren't on the same fucking planet as Real Madrid. Not on the same planet.
Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. Like and even as a fan, like Jack made the point there that he hopes Trent doesn't leave and stuff like that. Like if you have an opportunity to go there, like I'm a Liverpool fan, I love Liverpool, I love Trent, I love all this stuff. But the draw of going there must be absolutely massive to put on that shirt.
I think there's so many factors that would lead you down that road. Obviously, there's the whole thing that you're English and you wouldn't necessarily be, they haven't had lots and lots of English guys. Yeah, in the last number of years, they've had more. You've had Woodgate, Michael Owen, you've had David Beckham, you've had Steve McManaman, you got Jude Bellingham. So, yeah, there are more English guys getting there. You join that list. You join it, you go to a much better climate. You go to it, you have a better stadium and better training facilities. You go to it, you're in the mix for La Ligas and for Champions League year in, year out. and you go to it and you get colossal money. Like, what part of that do I not want to be involved in? Oh, and then there's the added bonus that I'm going to play alongside Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Mbappe, Endrick, Freddie Valverde. Like,
yeah, and the biggest problem, and the reason I say this, that I wouldn't begrudge players going, because
no,
if
you
your own
couldn't.
club doesn't share that level of ambition,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? You're fooling yourself.
And I
You're
think
fooling,
that's
you're annoying
an
yourself,
important thing to say.
you know?
I don't necessarily think, Trent Alexander-Arnold gets into the Liverpool team to say, I really want to get into this team because maybe one day I can go to Real Madrid. I think
No,
Trent Alexander-Arnold gets into that team and thinks, I'm going to stay here for the rest of my career. I'm going to lift trophies. I'm going to win trophies. I'm going to be they're going to have murals on the end of all the houses in Liverpool of me because I'm the local guy and all of that. But then, as you say, if FSG doesn't match up to that level, and at the minute, they're not at that level.
No.
And if they don't reach it, then you look in the mirror and you go, well, hold on a minute here. I'm pulling my bit and this guy's doing his bit, but we don't have enough pieces of the puzzle for it to work. I then start looking at, okay, well, where can I go? Where can I get involved with? Oh, my best mate's playing in Real Madrid and he wants me to come in and be a partner for, like, because let's be honest, if you're Real Madrid, this is such an easy signing for them. You're bringing in somebody who's as creative as Trent, with the range of passing as Trent. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be on many free kicks, but I mean, he's got that dead ball situation. He's not going to be defending more than noon and night, so you probably don't get the criticism, the level of criticism, because he's got guys like Eder Militao and Rudiger and stuff like that behind him.
Remember when you said it to me the other day on WhatsApp? I said he'll be great signing for them because he'll never be defending.
and that sits really well. He's going to come in and he's going to help Bellingham settle even more as well. And I think that's important for Madrid because they've outlaid a huge fee on Bellingham. They want to make sure that he settles and he becomes what they want him to become over the next 3 or 4 years. And if signing Trent helps achieve that, even if he never played football for the club, it would work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, in terms of the overall benefit.
Absolutely. I think it's a no-brainer. Now, by the way, if they go and get Trent Alexander-Arnold and Alphonso Davies, let's just fucking stop playing. Like, this is fucking getting silly.
We might actually enjoy Thursday night football next season out of choice. Not out of hardship.
We might enjoy it because we're not having to watch our team get absolutely ripped this Sunday by these lads.
The 16 to 22 is already on its way to Madrid, so there's no point in even getting involved.
Jesus Christ! Like,
look, I hope he stays. You know how big a Trent fan I am and stuff like that. I love Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I think it's important for Liverpool. I think if we were to lose Trent, that's a real statement as well. You know what I mean? It's really bad.
What level? I love that, Jack. Oh, I put this into the group chat earlier. Yeah. It's horrific. It's absolutely horrific.
The only thing, Jack, at the moment is maybe we shouldn't be mentioning Africa. I'm just saying, even if it's links Africa.
What level do you think it goes to get him out?
Well, he's entering into his last year, isn't he?
He is.
That's the problem, you know what I mean? So I think if we had to tie it down, I think are you starting at 80?
80?
If you had him tied down on a contract, not going into his last year.
You think he'd be going that high for a fullback?
I think so. I think looking at the market at the moment, you know what I mean? Like you look at what you've just done. You just paid nearly 50 million or whatever it is for an 18-year-old, reasonably unproven player. And I'm talking about a guy who's basically completed football. He's won it all, basically, nearly. You know what I mean? And he's but
I don't necessarily think. Like, I don't necessarily think, like, when you say he's completed football, I think there's huge flaws in the kid's game. Like,
Oh, yeah, I mean, but I mean, look, there's plenty
he's
of
certainly
players out
not
there.
what you would call the complete player.
Yeah, but I mean, you could look at that as well. I mean, you look at what they paid for Jude Bellingham. I wouldn't necessarily describe Jude Bellingham as the complete player either.
No, but I think he can do a lot more in the position he plays in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think Real Madrid wouldn't necessarily,
Whoa,
you know.
80 million. Fucking
Yeah,
hell.
I think it's going to take a sizable number to get him out of there. Like,
So so
listen,
so with a
you got to
year left on it, what are you talking?
um
Talking 50?
yeah, between 50 and 60, I'd say. And then it depends on his approach as well. Does he want to force the move through and all that kind of stuff and all, because we know with Edwards what Edwards is like. He'll hold out for the last shilling, like. So it'll be interesting to see if it develops. Now listen, a lot of the places that are reporting on this don't really hold a lot of water. We haven't really seen real reporting on this at the moment. And when you look at the money that Madrid have spent on Mbappe, and probably other bits that they're going to do and stuff like that as well. And the fact that they weren't going to get pushed on the Euro deal would give me a feeling that maybe it's not something that would happen this summer. But then what are we going to do? Are we going to tie him down to a new contract?
I don't think he's signing a new contract with Madrid waiting in the wings, is he?
I don't know. It depends on how strong that Madrid speculation is, or how strong. Like, we had Trent talking to Jude for 2 years, you know what I mean, and it fell through, and Jude went to Real Madrid. If Jude's talking to Trent, is it a similar type thing, and then it falls? I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see how it progresses. But I think
Well,
I
we'll
think
know who wears the trousers in the relationship if he does go to Madrid.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, it's gonna be very, very interesting. And we did say, I mean, remember when we spoke about Klopp exiting the building even prior to the end of the season and all the other stuff that went on?
Yeah.
We did say that there could be a number of players that we'd end up losing. That
This
we
is
might not
transition.
lose. That
This
this
is
is
the transition year.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
huge.
yeah. Because even when they must have a plan in place because they must
Where you
know.
were you a little bit put out that you didn't have another little look at the boy Kev from Turan who went for 20 million in the end?
Yeah, I think so, but do you know what it is? I think what's happened as well is I think there's been a lot of distraction at Liverpool, and I don't think they've lined up everything in the way they want to line it up. And I think, I think potentially we may go through a summer here where what we've seen before, where you get a lot of contract renewals and stuff like that as well, and they cloud the kind of situation. And I don't know, like Van Dijk after the Euros talking about saying he wants to look at his situation. You got Allison talking about wanting to look at his situation. Trent talking about wanting to look at his situation. So I don't know. You could see a very different Liverpool come August the way things are going. Let's see what happens.
That would be like I obviously spoke about how for me it was so important for Klopp to leave the building because I felt he was always the star of the show. But I mean, for Slot to come in and for guys like Trent and for guys like Virgil van Dijk to say, we need to have a look at where things are. Like, I just really think, again, that sets a huge precedent for
Well,
Liverpool and for Slot themselves.
do you know what it is? I don't think it's unreasonable. Like, I don't think it's unreasonable for Virgil van Dijk to say he wants to look at this situation because not only did we lose Klopp, but we lost the whole coaching team, really. So this is a whole new beginning, if you like. And then on top of that, as we already spoke about, you know, when you're sitting down around the table with Liverpool and you want to extend your contract and stuff like that, we've had this conversation before. What's FSG's ambition? Is their ambition the NBA? Is their ambition the PGA Golf? Is their ambition all this other stuff? They had a look at buying Bordeaux, who were in serious financial trouble and all that kind of stuff. Where is their actual ambition on the pitch in terms of bringing in what needs to be brought in? And we know, they've spent money, but we know over time as well that a lot of that money wasn't necessarily spent in the right places at times. And we know that at times when they needed to just go that other player or go that other 5 or 10 million, they didn't do it. And it's costs us and stuff like that. And I just think as well, I think a lot of these players as well, they've grown up in that Klopp era, really, haven't they? I mean, he was the father figure for them as well. And, I'm sure when he left, it was like losing your father and stuff like that. And I'm sure a lot of those players now probably feel a little bit exposed that they're out there now and that it's game on, basically. If you don't perform, you don't have this barrier of Jurgen Klopp now to protect you if you lack performance and whatever it is. So a lot of them might be feeling a little bit exposed and a little bit out there maybe in terms of where their future's at. So it's no surprising. Then obviously you have Saudi in the background as well, potentially offering massive money and life-changing generational wealth to some of these players and stuff like that. We heard from Kevin De Bruyne as well at Man City talking about it as well. If he's talking about it, Van Dijk's talking about it, Alisson's talking about it. They're all being contacted somewhere along the line, or So, but we'll see what happens. It's gonna be an interesting transition, and we'll see what happens.
I have some breaking news.
It's on your screen there now, is it? Is that what you wanted to give me?
That's the next one, yeah. So, one Fabrizio Romano has it up, and it says exclusive: Manchester United get the green light from Manuel Ugarte on personal terms. After closing the Lenny Euro deal, United have also received a positive feedback from PSG's Ugarte. He's keen on joining United even without Champions League football. Personal terms are verbally agreed. Ugarte has the same agent as Lenny Euro, George Mendes. So obviously the conversation was had when Mendes was in the building. Negotiations to follow between Man United and PSG. PSG are open to selling the midfielder, but it has to be the right bid. Man United will need one outgoing in midfield, while PSG is pushing for João Neves.
Yeah. This is phenomenal stuff by Man United at the moment. This I never thought
right now. Hands up, this right now is like me sitting at home playing FIFA.
This is how Edwards used to move for us back in the day. You know what I mean? And that's probably what's frustrating from Liverpool fans at the moment, stuff like that. We're sitting back and we're going, wow, 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 and it's.
Oh. I think it's telling also, and if you look at where the additions, let's say, have been made already, straight through the spine of that team, centre back, centre forward, and possibly a centre midfielder. Now, I imagine the outgoing in midfield is going to be Casemiro. And I would think it's going to take a bid from Saudi, hopefully, to take him out the door, and then there'll be something left in the pot for Ugarte. But this is like really and truly so far. It's going really well. It's going really well. Obviously, Willie Campbell's left the building. Mason Greenwood left the building. Donny van de Beek left the building. Varane and Martial have left the building, which means 21 million worth of wages is now in the pot. Aaron Wan-Bissaka looks like he's edging closer to West Ham. And I just think we're just making a lot of good moves right now. And again, as I said it earlier, this gives the manager so little leeway. We've got to just get that ball rolling from the word go, and we just have to start building from the first game and just building confidence and trying to make Old Trafford a fortress and stuff like that. And
do you know something? The most impressive part of this is it's not necessarily even the players or the names; it's the actual approach. You're going in, you're getting business done. You're not fannying around till the end of August. You're getting guys out the door. You know what I mean? Obviously, Ineos have done a good job as well.
They're extremely proactive in the market, which we haven't been generally for the last number of years.
And they're trying to make up for a decade of this. You know what I mean? So obviously, this summer had to be really, really something special.
Yeah. No, that's.
Karen, how are you? Good to see you. What are Arsenal looking for?
They should be looking for a striker. But I know Morris, and I've spoken to Morris on this, and Morris isn't sure they're going to go into the striker market. He's quite worried that they won't. And I think if Arsenal don't go into the striker market, I think this is a real struggle, you know.
Yeah, I called it. I think they're going to go with the Havertz project again. I really do. I don't think they're going to do it. I really don't. I don't see it unless they're working on something really quiet in the background. But I can't see it at the moment.
I think maybe I'm not 100% sure, but I think, you know, if I look at what's available, there's a lot of stuff that's maybe not at the level that Arsenal would be looking for. But if I look at maybe somebody, if I look at, say, PSG look like they're homing in on one Victor Osimhen. That seems to be the replacement, so to speak, for Kylian Mbappe. Now, obviously, they've got Ousmane Dembele and they've got Bradley Barcola. Now, to be honest with you, if they go in with Osimhen as a 9, and they go in with Dembele and Barcola as the two wide players, and then they've got guys like why can't I think of the guy's name, to come off the bench, like, that's pretty impressive. So that would possibly lead me to thinking that maybe somebody like a Goncalo Ramos might be available if they're going down the Osimhen route. And like, Goncalo Ramos could be a good signing for Arsenal. This is a guy he was touted as one of the next big superstars up front in kind of European football, and went into PSG and things didn't kind of work. Randall Kolo Muani was the player I couldn't get the words out of. He's obviously there in the background as well at PSG, so there's a lot going on. If you could get somebody like a Goncalo or like a Ramos into Arsenal, he could add something. He could add something massive to Arsenal, you know.
Yeah. What have you made of the Calafiori situation? I don't think it's still not complete yet. Sure, it's not.
No, the deal hasn't been done. Obviously, Bologna being pilferaged at the minute, aren't they? You know, they lose their manager Thiago Motta to Juve. They've lost Joshua Zirkzee to United, and now they look like they're going to lose Ricardo Calafiori to Arsenal. It's a huge mountain to climb for them, isn't it? It really is.
What do you think the hold-up is? Because Arsenal fans are obviously expecting an announcement either Monday or Tuesday. And I believe that the situation wasn't necessarily the Bologna side of things, that it was the player side of things that just need to be finalised.
Well, I think, like, it's probably not a guarantee at Arsenal for him. You know, if you look at the centre-back pair in there, in Gabriel and William Saliba, they were probably the best centre-back pairing in the league last season. I don't think we could argue with that.
Yeah.
Does he walk into that team? I'm not sure. Is he a good footballer? Absolutely. He's a super footballer, this kid. Super footballer. But there's a lot in front of him at Arsenal. You know, there's a lot when you're looking at Ben White and Yuri and Timber, and like, they're overloaded with good kind of centre-backs and guys that can play through the middle there. I'm not sure if I'm Ricardo Fiore and I'm looking at this going, is this blocking my path a little bit?
Were you surprised that Juve not doing what it took to get him with Motta there?
Yeah, massively.
And
massively.
Do you feel there's a reason there for that? Or
I think obviously the financial situation at Juve, the financial situation at Juve isn't great. It's not great in Italian football, but I think at Juve, and obviously there's a build there at Juve at the minute. You know, they've gone in and they've got Douglas Luiz, and they've gone in and they've got Kefram Thuram, and they've got the two lads out the door, to Villa and stuff like that. And then I think they're still looking at Team Coop Miners. They're looking for a new kind of midfield, basically. The money might not be there for a Calafiori, you know, because like, it can be 50 odd million out the door straight away. I don't think Bologna are going to go in for player swaps or anything like that. You know what I mean? Maybe they are, I'm unsure, but I think they would want a good chunk of that money up front so they can start to rebuild under whoever is going to get that job as well. Don't forget, you know?
Yeah.
So they'll want to give some sort of pot of gold to try and entice in a new manager there, because there'll be huge job to fill with Thiago Motta gone out and how he did it Bologna. It was fantastic, the job he did.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Daz wants to know, he just popped out there. Daz wants to know, who do you play next Dazzler pre-season? I think you're probably embarking on the US side of things, is that at this stage? Or close to it?
Thankfully, my trusty Manchester United app will tell me. Next, we have this Saturday, we've Rangers.
That's a tough one.
That's from Murrayfield.
I thought you meant QPR, sorry. Just say sorry.
And then Sunday the 28th, we're in SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, for Arsenal. So we've got Rangers, and then we travel to the US, and then we've got Arsenal, and then we've got Betis, and then we've got Liverpool all in the US, and then we've got City in the Community Shield. So it's 3 big games away from home. It's 3 big games. It's Arsenal, Betis, and Liverpool in the US. And then it's back on Saturday, the 10th of August for the Community Shield.
It's coming up quick, isn't it? It's coming up quick.
I'm looking here, and I'm like, Friday, the 16th of August, we're first up against Fulham. On the Friday night football, we open it up at home at Old Trafford. And I'm just like, I am fucking living for this. And it's not long away. And I can actually tell you, because I go on holiday on the 18th, 2 days later. So when you log into your Aer Lingus app and you click on your trip, it tells you how many days it is. So there's my flight. My trip starts in 30 days.
Yeah.
And in United go 2 days before that. So it's 4 weeks tomorrow. 28 days.
Absolutely. Crunya's back in again. Should Arsenal invest in depth for midfield and defence, or go for the striker with Jesus and Nketiah already there? Jesus and Nketiah are not going to deliver Arsenal a Premier League title.
Absolutely not.
I don't care what anyone says. It's definitely just not.
Absolutely not.
And I think if we are targeting a striker, I think both boys should go out the door, to be honest.
I think somebody like Eddie Nketiah probably has a good sell-on value. He's young, he's English. He hasn't necessarily had to run the Arsenal team he would have wanted, but his goal involvements aren't that bad. So I think if you've got somebody like Eddie Nketiah that you could get 30 million for, I think I get Eddie out the building for 30, and that's half of what's coming in. And I give myself a budget of 60 million for something around Europe.
Where do you think someone like Eddie Nketiah would land? Are we thinking Crystal Palace or something like that if they lose a number of other players? Are you thinking somewhere like that?
Not necessarily. It could be a Palace. It could be a Fulham. It could be an Everton.
It needs to be somewhere where he's going to play, isn't he? He has to play.
It needs to be somewhere he's going to play a lot of football, yeah. And then he needs to play a lot of football, I read, obviously, during the week that Emile Smith-Rowe seems to be getting very, very close to the door. And I suppose one of the things there is he needs game time. Hey, Henry. He needs game time, so I think that's important as well. It's not a wig, Henry. No, it's a new haircut, pal.
It's legit. A couple of others I wanted to touch on. Onana to Aston Villa. Shrewd business again by Emery.
Yeah. You look at Douglas Luiz leaving the building, you think, oh, this is going to hurt Villa. And then you see them make a move for somebody like an Onana, and you go, look at this. This is strength, power. This is that combative midfielder that Aston Villa want. He's certainly not as creative as Douglas Luiz, who we know took free kicks, corners, penalties, stuff like that. But I think in an in-game situation, he probably controls the game a little more physically for you. And then allows maybe someone like a Ross Barkley ahead of him to do a lot of that creating. I think you'll eventually see, your axis of Onana and Barkley and McGinn then being the two guys that try and drive forward and join Ollie Watkins and stuff like that,
Isn't it mad if you're Onana or you're Barkley and you're thinking, real tough season at Everton, so much upheaval, so much stuff going on. You got Ross Barkley at Luton, who when came in was very, very good for Luton and stuff like that and all.
Yeah.
And both these boys now find themselves in the Champions League.
Yeah.
That's just crazy, isn't it?
I think the boy Onan is a really good footballer.
Yeah.
I think Barkley has something special about him. I don't think he's necessarily gotten the plaudits for it over the years because not every move he's made has worked. But I think Ross Barkley's
his career's been quite stop-start, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. And I think Ross Barkley's a real good footballer, if I'm honest. I really do. I think he has a lot about him. I don't think there's lots of players in the league that can do as much as he can. Like, if I look at Ross Barkley, like, generally I'll say, okay, let's say Bruno. Okay, Bruno's a creative player, but he doesn't have that box-to-box, and he's not as physical as a Barkley.
Strength.
Okay, Barkley has strength. He drives the ball. He dribbles the ball on his feet. Ross Barkley's a good footballer, man. Real good footballer.
I think this kind of answers itself from Henry. Are you happy with the transfer window, Dazzler? Will Manchester beat LFC? And I predict it will be a Manchester 1 and 2 this season. Do you agree?
I think it's a little early for a 1-2. I think we're so far behind the likes of yourselves and Arsenal. There's still work to done to level that playing field. But I think we're making a lot of moves to remedy that. And I think if we can keep doing what we're doing in the market, keep getting Deadwood out and keep getting new, fresh faces in who can add to what we have, I think it could be very exciting for United fans this season. I think it could be.
Yeah, absolutely. Ted's saying Barkley has moments about him. It's like whenever he gets to a big team, he panics and shits the bed. I think Emery will play a big part in that, I think.
Oh, I don't necessarily disagree with what Ted's saying. I just think it's not that he shits the bed. I think for Barkley, it's much easier to be the big fish in the little pond. I think, when he gets to that big pond, maybe things aren't.
Yeah, I think at times when he's got to some of the big ponds as well, he hasn't really turned out the way he expected it to turn out. I'm thinking the move to Chelsea that time and all. Arguments about whether it was the right move at the time or not is hard to know, So, but yeah, I think he's there's certainly a player in there, and if anyone's going to unleash it, it's going to be Unai Emery, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Karen, back in again. Thanks, guys. Quite insightful. Also, any input on the Chiesa Tammy Abraham situation?
Chiesa Tammy Abraham.
We spoke about there about a week or two ago.
We did. We were hoping to get a swap deal with him and Jadon Sancho, and now it looks like all the gardens rosy again. I
was going to move on to that as well. I have a slide there.
I knew you were. That's why I segued.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not too sure. I don't know. I don't know. As we said, coming out of the tournament, Italy had a terrible tournament, but obviously Chiesa was maybe one of the shining lights in there, if there was any. But certainly, the difficulty in it, I spoke about it. You guys spoke to me about it. Would I take him at Liverpool and stuff like that? I think for me, it's a tough sell. You guys disagreed, and you said you would take him in, obviously, because he obviously resolves what perceived would have been the Sancho issue. But we'll talk about it. We'll move on to it now, actually, because I have it there. Sancho back in, prodigal son returns. What you thinking on this? Are they bringing him back in to protect the valuation? Are they bringing him back in? Do you see Jadon Sancho having a squad number in August at Manchester United? Or what way do you think it's going to go?
I don't know. It was an interesting turnaround of affairs, And I think at times when he was at the club, Ten Hag liked him and he liked the look of him. And, I really do. I think he was a guy at times Ten Hag would look to and go, I like this kid. He can do something for me. I think the issue was he wasn't able to do it consistently enough. And then there was obviously issues off the pitch and stuff like that. And then that caused the relationship to break down and stuff. But I don't think he necessarily lit the place on fire. Maybe this, for me, is this where we're seeing outside influence from like an Omar Barada and a Jason Wilcox, where they're saying, listen, we think this kid has enough to warrant a spot in what we have going on right now. He will solve a position. If you say Mason Greenwood goes out, You take Jadon Sancho back in to balance the books. We end up with money to spend elsewhere, and you're not looking to replace two guys on that side, and Ahmad is there as well, and Anthony is there, and do you know what I mean? So, yeah, listen.
And because of this kid's contract as well, it's very hard to find a home for him. He's
really
on top
tough.
wedge.
Really tough.
Contract
it might be a situation where, they're like, you know what? It's easier to try and get a tune out of this fiddle than to try and retune it. And that's basically, I think, where we are on it. I'm not really sold on it, if I'm honest. I'm not really sold on it, but I will trust the process and allow things to unfold, shall we say.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it develops, because if it develops well and he puts his head to the grinder and he trains hard and he shows up and does what he's supposed to be doing, it'll be interesting to see where he lies in terms of being picked or used and stuff like that and all, because it's one thing to include a guy in a squad. It's another thing to force a manager to put him onto the pitch is a very different conversation.
Yeah.
And we know that right side for Man United has been problematic as well. So, who knows? Let's see what happens, who gets the England job now that Southgate is gone? We just spoke about at the start of the show, Henry. For us, either Eddie Howe or Jurgen Klopp. That's where we're going with it, Darren, aren't we?
I would give it to Jurgen Klopp, but again, if England decided it needs to be somebody English, then I go for Eddie Howe.
Would Kimmich be good for us, Niall? Joshua Kimmich at Liverpool, Darren?
Super footballer.
Absolutely.
Super footballer. Just a real top footballer with a great work rate, very intelligent, somebody who reads the game very well, great attitude. He's a leader, we know, obviously, as well. So anybody that can get Joshua Kimmich in the door is...
He improves any of the top teams.
He improves, exactly. The issue I would find is I don't necessarily think Liverpool are going to be looking at the likes of a Joshua Kimmich.
That would have had to be a Klopp signing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't think you swap Bayern Munich for Liverpool at the minute with the way things are sliding, shall we say?
Yeah. Ted's in. I think Sancho got humbled a bit not being selected for England, realised maybe he's not the top dog and can't go acting like it just because he cost 70 million. I think that might be part of it, but I think also the part of it that really is important is I think Ineos and Ratcliffe are clever enough to know they need to protect their assets and they can't have this kind of nonsense to carry on. They don't need any of this kind of crap in the background, basically. So they need to iron that out. And look, if he comes on and he starts playing for United and he starts balling out, my God, the plaudits that the likes of Ineos and Ten Hag will probably get if they've resolved it and stuff like that. And I think, as you said with Ten Hag as well, with everything that's being put in place and what he's being given and the tools he's being given and all, there's nowhere to hide. So you can't hide behind a guy sitting in a car park eating his lunch who was on your books for 70 million or whatever it is and 300 grand a week or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like that just can't wash. You have to be more dynamic in your approach as well.
Absolutely. You got to be braver, right?
Yeah, no, we don't think. I don't think Klopp would take it, and I think as well it's probably a big jump as well. I think for Jurgen Klopp to take that before taking the German national side as well would be interesting.
I don't think he necessarily takes it, but if I'm the FA, it's the first door I knock on.
Yeah, I'm trying to wedge.
If I want to show real intent, I go to the door and I open it. I go to the door and I knock on it, and when he opens it, I'm standing there with a big briefcase full of cash, and I go, name your price, and take what we have. They've some of the best, St. George's Park, some of the best facilities that national teams have around the world and stuff like that. There's so many positives at England at the minute. If they could get some sort of a leader to play that band, play that tune,
Yeah, we are indeed, Henry. Just send me a link. Let me know what time. I'm available from 8 o'clock. So absolutely do a podcast on Bill Shankly. Why wouldn't I? 100%. Ted's in. Greenwood deal done and dusted.
Yeah, he's out the door. He's been presented in Marseille by the looks of it. There's a picture of him here in a jersey, or it's been superimposed. Now here he is. He's here with the He's signed and he's wearing the number 10 jersey.
Yeah.
So
I think it's good for all. I think it's good for all parties. I think it's good for all parties involved.
26 million euro fixed fee, 5 million in achievable add-ons, and a 50% sell-on clause. 31 million plus. If he goes from there 40, you break 50 million on a kid who was a problem.
That's what we spoke about in the car the other day, remember?
If I can get 50 million every time I have a problem, I'm doing all right.
Absolutely. Wanted to get your ideas on this. I spoke about it the other night on the Monday show when I was going solo. Ballon d'Or.
Rodri.
We talking Rodri? Yeah, we both agree.
Give it a Rodri.
Yeah,
don't
100%.
even have a conversation. Just give it a Rodri. And I think it's important for world football that we get someone like a Rodri.
You know? It can't just always be a striker. Sure, it can't.
No. And also, like, I'm going to whisper this. Can't also always be a wanker either. Like, I just feel like for our kids' sakes, it needs to be a guy like Rodri. A guy that, as you say, puts his shoulder to the wheel every time. And he puts his best foot forward and does everything he can.
Literally every match 8 out of 10.
It's and it's not someone in flashy boots or with a poxy haircut or, guys that fucking, want to have relations with their sisters or fucking any other shite. Like, just
I won't necessarily
I
won't necessarily be the nice choice from a marketing point of view and all that kind of stuff. Where you'd want a Bellingham.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is, what I mean?
It needs to be.
Remember when Modric got it?
Yeah, the ugly choice.
Yeah, absolutely. But
it needs to be Rodri. It absolutely needs to be Rodri. I think what he's done at club and country is just on the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. Ted in. Give it to Portugal team, except CR7 for putting up with him. Thought he wants to stay for the World Cup as well. That'd be horrific, wouldn't it?
Horrific. He's already absolutely ruined a good squad.
Don't stay too long to become a villain.
I think it's too late for that.
I know, yeah. If I was advising them, though.
I think it's too late for that.
Will we talk a little bit of golf quickly?
You need to, because I've only got 3% left.
There we go. Well, I have to show you the graphic I did for you today.
Oh, look at that.
How'd you like that? Old skill. Hickory Club.
Look at that.
Burberry top. The whole lot. 2 gloves.
Little bit of tartan. The old leather glove. Oh, that's
the old skill
horrific looking, isn't it?
Yeah. At the moment, it looks like Daniel Brown is the leader in the clubhouse after round 1. 6 under. Shane Lowry, flying at 5 under. Had a great round today, a real controlled round from Shane Lowry, putting absolutely fantastic as well. Unfortunately, your boy Tiger, we spoke about him down, I think, a +8 or whatever it is.
He's +8, yeah.
Really going to struggle and stuff like that. But yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on this before we go. This Tiger Woods situation with Colin Montgomery. Colin Montgomery made comments, I think, a week ago or something like that, talking about how the likes of Tiger and stuff like that, these guys, they shouldn't be in there anymore. They're not going to win it. This, that, and the other. Blah 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 blah. We know that the situation there where Tiger's a massive draw. He's a global star. He's been unbelievable for golf, and obviously Tiger answered him the right way the other day by saying, "Unfortunately, Colin doesn't get to make that choice. I do because I won the tournament."
Absolutely.
But how do you feel about it overall? Do you think that the play exemption, do you think it should go that far, or do you think maybe it should be shorter? Because I was looking at the golf today, I was working from home today. I was looking at the golf. I felt really sorry for Tiger Woods. And why do we feel sorry for billionaires? I don't know. But I felt really sorry for him because he's given us so many magical moments, so many brilliant majors, so unbelievable moments in golf. If you were picking out top 10 moments in golf, he's probably 6 or 7 of them maybe, or you could easily...
Me personally, I think he still attracts a crowd. I think he still draws a crowd. I think there's more people this year at Royal Troon because Tiger is there than were there last year at Royal Liverpool High Lake because Tiger wasn't there. Tiger Woods is still a draw. And I think it's nice the way they pay homage to their previous past champions there. I think golf, a lot of golf has been built on tradition. And me personally, I think this is a tradition that I would uphold. I think obviously Colin's issue is he didn't have the watermelons to get over the line in an open, which meant he doesn't get to rock up now. I mean, if you watch the Masters also do. So we get Sandy Lyle every year because he won a Masters. We get Freddie Couples every year because he won a Masters. And I love that. I think it adds to the tournament massively, because then obviously they'll scoot back and they'll show you Lyle winning in 88 or whatever, and they'll show you Freddie Couples and they'll show you. And I mean, if I'm a fan of a certain age and I haven't maybe seen that, it's nice to be able to connect the dots with that footage and build an overall picture of the tournament and stuff like that. So for me, Monty needs to do what Monty needs to do, and he needs to shut the fudge up.
Yeah, I suppose I was looking at it today and I was thinking, one, I love Tiger Woods. I'm a huge fan of Tiger Woods. I think he put golf into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
And he made it really cool as well for kids. It was cool to play golf again, that kind of way. Darren's just gone out a battery there, so I'll round it out anyway. But I think maybe there's a slight case for maybe looking at it maybe in a different way or a different format, because I think it's really difficult when you see these guys who you've revered for years and, who you've loved for years, and, you see them going out there and they're really struggling. And obviously Tiger, he's been so competitive for so many years. He's won it all. He's done it all. But obviously that comes with, injury. It comes with your body breaking down. It comes with you getting older. It comes with all those kind of things. You know what I mean? Like if you compare it to no one wants to see Mo Salah playing football at 40 odd years of age and nearly missing every shot he takes. We don't want to see that. When you want to remember players, you want to remember them. When we think of Gaza and all, we want to remember Gaza when he was at his peak balling out, not necessarily when he was going through all the turmoil and stuff like that. And the same for a lot of players. And I think that's the case with this. I love the history of golf. I love all these things. Obviously, when we spoke about Live Golf on the show a few times and how they were pulling against the traditions and the values of golf and stuff like that. And just the money was just ridiculous and all that kind of stuff. I think in this case, I think it's something that maybe they could look at. I don't necessarily think I don't want him there, but I think there might be a better way of doing it that doesn't make it look like Tiger Woods doesn't want our sympathy. Tiger Woods a phenomenal athlete, phenomenal golfer, one of the best sportsmen in the last 20 years and stuff like that and all. So he doesn't necessarily want our sympathy, and I don't necessarily want to watch him playing and feel that way either. But today was a very tough watch. And it's tough conditions as well. Links golf, cold out there, wind, rain, all that kind of stuff. These guys are not used to that. They're used to playing in 30 plus degrees weather, beautiful sunshine, greens that look like snooker, billiards tables and all that kind of stuff, not undulations, bunkers that you don't nearly need a ladder off the side of a yacht to get down into and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's really, really important that we take that into account as well, I want Mo to finish at LFC and then go into coaching the kids or something like that. Yeah, that'd be phenomenal if it was to happen. Don't see it happening, but who knows? I think there could be +4 or 5, depending on when tomorrow. Yeah, and it's going to be even tougher, and especially it might not even be that high, Daz, because 6 under at the moment is leading the tournament. So I don't know. You could be looking at maybe +3 even, which will take a lot of people over. I'm not sure. I haven't looked right down into the toys for 70s. If you look at the toy, if you look at what's a 70 normally get through roughly to the weekend. So what have we got? The 70s are at +3. Called it +3. Awasaka is at +3 at the moment, and he's at tied for 69th. The next is tied for 82. So +3 could be the margin tomorrow, depending on how things go. What they will need is they'll need the likes of Daniel Brown or Shane Lowry to come back to the grouping basically to push it to 4 or 5 maybe. But we'll see what happens. But great first round anyway, and Lowry phenomenal, Daniel Brown phenomenal, and some really good shots in there from others as well. Justin Rose laying down a marker earlier in the day as well. He's been up there on the leaderboard, and obviously Justin Thomas as well, who's a very tidy player. If it wasn't for Tiger, none of the players would be on the money they're on now, yeah, especially the sponsorship side of things, Ted. But also even the prize money that's gone in there. I mean, you look at the PGA Tour at the moment, it's like, I think the minimum for winning one at the moment now is probably about 2 million quid or something like that. It's absolutely astronomical. And the sponsorship is absolutely huge. So there's no doubt, no question about what he's done to the sport and projecting it out the way he did and stuff like that. No, it was absolutely monstrous. So, of course, we wish him well. Hopefully he'll put in a good round tomorrow and roll it back a little bit somewhat anyway. But that's it, folks. That's the show for tonight. So if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, drop a like on the video. I will be on tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. I'm going to be on Henry's channel. We're going to be talking all things Bill Shankly. And we'll probably talk about other Liverpool stuff as well. There's no doubt. The conversation with Flo, as it always does when me and Henry are on your screens as well. So make sure you check out Henry's channel. Make sure you're subscribing, hitting that bell notification button and dropping a like on the video. And we'll talk to you again real soon. I'll catch you tomorrow night with Henry. Cheers, folks.